Has anyone ever challenged you to something you are an expert at without them knowing it? If so, how did it turn out for them/you? Not me, but I remember a story of a kid whose dad was remodeling their garage, and he was going over the drawings with the inspector, who had a chip on his shoulder, and was saying that the designs wouldn't work. The dad was disagreeing, saying that it were going back and forth. The dad then asks if he would improve it if he had a PE sign off on it. The inspector agrees, and the dad goes inside and gets his PE stamp and stamps the drawing. I was at the gym at work, and there's a fit looking older guy running on the treadmill. There's also another guy there wandering around, not really working out, but trying to talk to everyone and offer advice. What is it with guys thinking girls need help in the gym? Haha. Just being a pest in general. He wanders over to the guy running and starts asking him what he's training for. Running guy answers ultra marathon in a few weeks. Annoying guy is impressed, but jokingly and says, will you win? RG, probably. Ag, oh, hahaha, yeah, you've always got to be positive, right? RG, well, I've won it for the last 3 years and the closest person to me was 50 minutes behind me, so yeah, I'm pretty positive. I surreptitiously checked out his name on the sign-in register and went back to my desk to Google him. Yep, multiple records for ultra marathons, 24-hour road and treadmill races, 48 hours treadmill races, close bracket. Somebody challenged me to play a round of Age of Empires 2, medieval strategy computer game, against him. I used to play that game on a competitive level, so I just proceeded to play at roughly the same snail's pace speed he did. Sometimes attacked him with a weak armies to make it look like I'm struggling to beat him, while in reality 90% of my traps were tucked away hidden in the back of my lands. It was closed off arena map that made it really easy to hide them from him. So I continue to act like I'm struggling and slowly start to give in to his siege attacks, making it look he's actually going to win the game. At one point he asks in a victoriously smug voice, so looks like the game is over, right? To which I reply, looks like it. And before he could say anything else, roughly 100 fully upgraded elite Teutonic knights emerged from my side of the fog of war and proceeded to annihilate everything in their path. His reaction was priceless. It went from complete disbelief, where are all those units from, to denial, you cheating *SSHAT, and various other emotions, while I just had a hearty laugh. I had an athletic scholarship in college. I swam. But, after college, I went to graduate school, biochemistry, and proceeded to lose the swimmer physique. However, you don't lose technique. So, the wife and in-laws and I are at a resort in Puerto Rico one day and I swam across the pool to meet them, and some guys started talking up their friend to go challenge me to a race. The dude came over, he was ripped, all like candy, and challenged me to a race across the pool and back, and the loser had to buy the other group a round of drinks. There were about 8 of them, and 4 of us. It was about 30 yards or so nearly a 50-meter freestyle, and I was a sprinter. In college I had a high 23-second time in the event, so I agree and watch him swim and touch the other side. That's when I turned that Methodica on and underwater kick to a flip turn, and then burst out beast mode on the return. I hit the wall when he was a little over halfway back. Needless to say, he bought us all a round of beers, and we actually ended up seeing them several times over the next week. He was a really cool dude, but was obviously really embarrassed. Now that I think about it, I hope either he or one of his friends are a Redditor and see this. In the Marine Corps they do a lot of wrestling/grappling as training and exercise. Well, for a Marine I was a pretty imposing looking person. Little did they know that I had been doing Jiu-Jitsu, a form of grappling, for about 4 or 5 years before joining. So more than a few times I would have these big weightlifter, meathead types challenge me to grappling only for me to wipe the floor with them. It kind of became a joke once people caught on, and when we would get new guys to the unit, the guys in the know would trick them into grappling against me. I was at a training class in Arizona a few years ago for people in a bunch of different industries. One guy was the head of quality for a particular and well-known winery in California. We all go out to dinner, and this guy orders a fairly expensive glass of wine from his winery at a restaurant. They brought over the wine, and when he sipped it, he let the waitress know that this was not the wine he ordered. She assured him it was and brought him another glass. Again, he insisted it was not the right wine. Finally, the manager came over and our guy revealed himself as head of quality for the winery. The manager stumbled trying to make up a poor reason and admitted they ran out and figured they would replace it with a very similar, and as it turns out much cheaper, wine. The look of smug satisfaction on our guy's face was priceless. I once had a guy at a party try to lecture me about a particular topic. He quoted a paper about the topic and tried to explain it to me. I told him he was interpreting the sentence wrong, and he started belittling me for being too stupid to understand the topic, including calling other people over to witness my embarrassment. I stopped him and asked him who wrote the paper he was quoting. He didn't know, so I made him look it up on his phone. Turns out, to his great embarrassment, he was quoting me to me and was trying to explain to me what I meant in my own paper. I let him try to stammer his way out for a few minutes, then gave him my card and told him that he could call me if he ever wanted to fix his ignorance. Edit. Many people asking for the topic. Unfortunately, telling you that would mean revealing my true name. To give you an idea, it was a technical topic similar to the heartbleed thing. Media wrote about it, got it wrong. I wrote a rebuttal paper, got shared around the community, and became sort of the go-to paper explaining the subject. In college, a coworker of mine hosted a hearts tournament. Buy-in was like $10 and the top person from each of the 8 tables were matched up to play each other in 2 games, and then the top 2 of those played in the championship game. I asked to join in, since he needed people to fill the tables. Do you even know how to play? It won't be like playing on the computer, you know. I think I can manage. Okay, I can give you some pointers if you like. I'm pretty good. I learned how to play hearts at 4, and it's something my family did throughout my childhood. I've always been able to count cards, I guess you would say, and keep track of everything that has been played. I won the championship round with a score of 7. For those of you who don't know, it's like golf. When a player crosses 100 points, the player with the lowest score wins, the person with 118. Mister, let me know if you need any help. That $320 helped pay my rent. Thanks, dude. Not exactly expert, but I'm bilingual. I come from the US, but moved to Poland when I was about 6 years old. I'm now 23. However, I don't have an unusual accent in either language. I sound like a normal American when I speak English, and I sound like a normal Pole when I speak Polish. I've had multiple situations where I've corrected someone's English, they challenge me, then realize I'm a native speaker. Whoops. Also funny to hear people talking about me in the other language. English speakers when I'm in Poland, Polish speakers in the UK/us, often being rude, assuming I don't understand. Just as simple as that, so? Or some small phrase and people go all red. I was a competitive swimmer when I was in grade school. Once when I was probably 10 or so, I was at a swim meet out of town and was doing some recreational swimming in the hotel's pool. There were other children and people swimming around, and I noticed this full-grown man who was challenging some of the kids to races. Obviously he was beating all of these 8-year-olds, some who were still wearing floaters. I swam over and challenged him to a race. We agreed on the terms, to the other side of the pool and back, and started off. I immediately pulled past him and sprinted across the pool and back. After I reached the other side, before he had barely started, he just stopped in the middle of the pool and seemed pretty butthurt that he had just been destroyed in a race by a 10-year-old girl. I was kind of upset that he didn't even try to finish the race once he knew he had lost. I entered a Halo tournament at the local mall while killing time one day. Got paired with a 9-year-old kid as a partner because I didn't have a teammate. People were joking and making fun, saying I should try and get my entrance fee back because I was screwed. This was the original Halo, on the original Sparks, before Sparks Live was created. Online gaming at the time was all PC based, Counter-Strike or Unreal Tournament. Consoles were local multiplayer only. I explained to my teammate that I played this game pretty much every day using an online service called Sparks Connect. It was a virtual LAN program that allowed geeks like myself to play games against other people on the internet. He didn't understand. He was 9. I told him that I was really good at Halo and all he had to do was stay alive. He agreed that stay alive was a good plan. Our first match was against a couple college guys. They were talking serious smack. Going to embarrass me. Going to send us both crying to mama. Blah blah blah. We won 50-5. The highlight of the game was a double kill by my sidekick with the rocket launcher. I got both of them to follow me into a choke point and he blew them the hell away, shouted across the concourse, "Who's crying now?" We went on to win the tournament and both got a $150 gift certificate good at any store in the mall. Kid acted like he won the lottery. Not an expert, but I was invited to a Christmas party last year. They had a dessert competition. Not very many people knew I'm going to college for culinary arts. One unanimously. He told me that he wanted a rematch next Christmas. I'm taking my baking class this semester. Good luck, mister. If you crush someone at making dessert, of course they want a rematch. That means they get to eat your dessert again. I have the perfect one for this, except it wasn't me, so please allow me to tell it anyway. Girl I went to high school with was super big into target and trap shooting. She started at really young age, and by the time she was 17 she was not only competitive at international tournaments but winning a few. She went to school on a scholarship for her shooting, and would come home in the summers to work. It was during one of these summers we were all hanging out at a friend's ranch and this guy who was a few years older than us was bragging about how he'd been the best shot in his unit in Iraq. Saying stuff like how officers would request him from other units to go on patrol with them, because he could kill a sand people from any distance with any gun. Well, a few of us, knowing we had a ringer that would shut this guy up, told him we bet a girl could shoot better than him. So we found a .22 and set up some targets along fence posts about 50 to 150 yards out. Loudmouth soldier boy hit 3 out of 4. Ringer girl not only hit 4 out of 4, she did it in rapid succession, taking probably 3 seconds to shoot all 4 cans dead center. Guy made some excuse about the light not being good or the how a .22 is not a good way to show real talent, and left the party soon after, saying he was going to go meet a girl. This is the best part. As he was getting in his lifted truck, Ringer girl ran up to him, pretended to hand him something, and says, "Here's your nuts back, you may need them." Best party ever, haha. Like and subscribe for more content.